The member of a gang who dismantled stolen cars has been jailed. Giedrius Eimutis was captured on CCTV taking apart a Range Rover which had been stolen just hours earlier. He was part of a gang which dismantled cars on an industrial scale, Grimsby Crown Court heard. The Lithuanian was convicted by a jury at court after denying conspiracy to handle stolen goods between 2017 and 2020. At court in Grimsby he was jailed for 4 years. Prosecuting, Charlotte Baines told how 3 units on an industrial estate in Scunthorpe were used for stripping around 40 cars. She said the mechanic did not have overall responsibility for the running of the operation at Hebden Road. Police recovered many vehicle parts in a raid on units 4, 5, and 6 on the estate, which had come from stolen cars. One unit had parts valued at nearly $400,000 and another over $150,000. The prosecutor revealed there were phone contacts between the defendant and the owner of the units, which operated under the name GM Motors. Ms. Baines said the value of the conspiracy amounted to over $1 million. This was a professional and sophisticated offense. These units were being run on the face of it as a legitimate business. In fact, it was masking criminal activity to detract attention from what was actually going on, some of which was recent. The prosecutor said his role was lesser than others because he was an employee involved in dismantling the vehicles as opposed to having direct control of the operation of the units. She said they operated without Environment Agency licenses and outside of tax laws. Matthew Dan said his client only operated from one of the units and only worked for one of the gang members. He said his client had come to the UK with his long-term partner. He added his client had been in custody since being arrested in 2020 and had already served the equivalent of a 4-year sentence. The defense barrister said his client is remorseful for his involvement in the conspiracy which was under the instructions of others. Judge Michael Fanning said the defendant would have been aware that he was dismantling stolen cars. The jury found you knew full well that what you were engaged in was criminal activity. You are a hard-working, skillful worker. But you applied your talents to the conspiracy to dismantle vehicle parts. As an example, I watched CCTV footage of you over 3 days take apart a Range Rover. You systematically stripped it to the component parts. Why would you destroy a perfectly serviceable vehicle other than to hide origin to sell on its parts? The judge added it was undoubtedly an professional and sophisticated offense. I have seen the evidence of the vehicle being dismantled after it had been stolen, and within hours you were working to strip it down. You were second in command in this conspiracy which was on an industrial scale over a considerable amount of time. He said the defendant had already served the sentence and would likely be released from prison pending an investigation into his immigration status. Further financial proceedings are due to be taken against him at a later date, the court heard.